I really feel like something big is coming. Pluto, planet of the underworld, is stationing retrograde on April 29th at 28 degrees Capricorn and 35 minutes. Pluto will remain retrograde until the beginning of October, and it will station direct at 26 degrees Capricorn and 7 minutes. This is a long time for a planet to be retrograde. So I don't buy into the hype of what Pluto retrograde is going to mean for me. And I'm not here to spill that tea for you, because I think it's kind of bullshit, actually, because Pluto is going to be retrograde for almost 5.5 months out of the year. Like, that's nothing. Like, that's its usual thing. That's not special like a Venus retrograde is. Venus retrogrades are rare. Those are a very big deal. So don't worry about what the Pluto retrograde is going to do. However, the planetary station is the big deal. So this time Pluto is stationing retrograde. We can feel that station building for a few days before. We're going to feel it a few days after. A stationary planet is a commanding presence. There's something that is reversing. There's something that is unearthing. There's something that is turning around. When Pluto stations, it's common to feel a sense of intensity, emotions, complex emotions arise. Sometimes I feel it as like a sense of anticipation or a sense of dread, and doubly so with the incoming solar eclipse. So there's an eclipse the next day. Pluto is stationing one day before a partial solar eclipse. So eclipse season incoming can feel that same sense of like eeriness, like what is it that's around the corner? There's a sense of anticipation, like something is going to change. And yes, it is eclipse season. Whoa. Funnily enough, if that's how you say it, Pluto will be stationing direct in early October, just before our next eclipse season. So this Pluto retrograde is going to take us from eclipse season to eclipse season. So when Pluto stations, it's conjuring up the ghosts. It's conjuring up the skeletons in the closet, the ghosts from our past, the big, heavy emotions that might be kind of kept safely and nicely buttoned up beneath the surface. But Pluto says, bring them out. There's a message for you here. And if you are not in the middle of a Pluto transit, you might not feel this as much. But if you do have a planet between 26 and 29 of the cardinal degrees, you are going to feel this because you are in a Pluto transit. So this Pluto station is going to be an especially big deal for those people and will intensify the nature of that Pluto station. So Pluto's job is to reveal. Pluto's job is to bring things to light. It is the planet of massive forces of nature, death and rebirth, transformation, transfiguration. These are all big Pluto things. So there's something that is being transformed. And those of us who are living here in the United States, where I am, we're in our Pluto return. So this might be felt on the world stage in a pretty big way as well. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, so Pluto's job is to help us face what lies beneath. And it often requires a great deal of vulnerability to really take a brave look in that mirror of the underworld, where we see ourselves raw and vulnerable, naked, just like Queen Inanna when she descends into the underworld to see herself. It's humbling. It's a very humbling experience. She's a queen. Her crown is removed, and every article of clothing, every piece of regalia that defined her status, she's reduced to nothing and forced to look at that, Pluto is the planet that removes these topical illusions, these temporary fixations with a situation, a status, some sort of form. Pluto reminds us that we are all reduced to dust at some point. So how do you want to live? Pluto is that reminder that death and endings are a part of life, but what do we do with that? So the answer, there's no clear-cut answer. It's going to be unique to everyone because Pluto is raw and real. Pluto will be stationing in a trine to Mercury at the anaretic degree of Taurus. So something helpful is likely to be revealed, and it's ultimately going to bring a deep sense of relief or peace. Now, don't get this confused with the eclipse. That could be totally different. And it might be hard to kind of distinguish one for the other. I think a lot of people out there will be feeling the eclipses and thinking it's Pluto and vice versa. If you want help sorting that out, I'm available for consultations and we can take a look at which one is inviting you to do what and where in your life. Pluto is also stationing retrograde in a sextile to Jupiter in Pisces. This is offering some sort of spiritual component to the station, as in like the divine ecstasy of interconnectedness, even though, there's like Pluto, there's like the intense side to that story. We all are interconnected in this story. And I think one of the theories is that I know it's controversial. It's very controversial, but if someone creates like pain in our life, there's the theory that maybe on some level we're creating that pain for one another to have some sort of experience in this life that makes us wise, that helps us grow. And yeah, it's a very controversial way to think about it because, there are some acts that are committed in this world that are just unforgivable, And so let's say some, not all, okay? Let's say for the sake of our own sanity, let's say some, not all. But we could say that sometimes maybe it's like when you have to, let's say, teach a child, the hard way, like let's learn the hard way. It's like that where it's all love. The universe is all love. But yeah, how do we make sense of all that? It's something that boggles my mind, actually. How do we make sense of all that? And so maybe this station just inspires this sort of deep thinking, this quest for discovery, this quest for the answers. So we'll have the eclipses going on too. So that'll make it a little choppy to distinguish which is happening from where. But that's a little bit about this Pluto station. And I hope it's powerful in a good way for you. And that was your astrology shot of the day. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. Book your next astrology reading with me by visiting my website, where you can also sign up for my newsletter and stay up to date on courses, events, and new articles. Bye.